Ja, hvad siger du, Adam? Det er godt. Nu tæller du mig ned. Nej, du er i gang. Vi vinder med Eurovision. Yes. Good afternoon and welcome to the International Press Center. My name is Peter and I work here at the IPC. And we are very glad to see all of you this afternoon for the press briefing we have organized ahead of the Eurovision Song Contest in Malmö, which takes place next week. We have been very lucky to have three very interesting and competent speakers this afternoon who will, from their three different angles, tell us a little bit about the preparations for this year's Eurovision contest in Sweden. I'll introduce them in a minute, but just to say that for a number of years we haven't done the Eurovision briefings here at the IPC, but we just thought this year with the location again, of course we would like to see it in Denmark at some point, but now it's in Malmö, it made sense for us to also set up this briefing this afternoon. So warm welcome to you, our speakers, the journalists here in the room, and also the people who join us online via Zoom. We'll do this and we'll give the word to the panel for some brief remarks as introductions, and then after that we will go to a Q&A session that we'll try to manage from here. I think we will open up for questions first from the room, and then we'll also try to take some questions in, if there are any, from the journalists joining us on Zoom. And please, when we get to that, you can write your questions in the chat. But we'll get back to that. But without further ado, I'm very pleased to introduce our speakers this afternoon. We've got Ole Tøpholm with us, who will be the commentator at Eurovision for the Danish Broadcasting Corporation. And also Ole has followed the Eurovision for many, many years. So he's a good person to ask about the history and perspective. Then we've got also the chief of the Danish contest, Danish Melodi Grand Prix, Erik Struve, also works at DR, the Danish Broadcasting Corporation. So also here to talk about the Danish approach to this year's competition. And then last but not least, we are happy to welcome you, SABA, who will be representing Denmark next week when we go into the competition. So thanks a lot to you for also being here with us this afternoon. So I think without further ado, I will agree that Ole will kick off. So Ole, all of you welcome. Ole, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you, and good afternoon to all of you. I'm the Eurovision commentator for Danish television. I have done it 10 times before. So Eurovision, you know, it's a very huge thing in my heart. And before my Eurovision job as a commentator, I was also, visiting Eurovision shows as a fan. My first Eurovision was actually in Copenhagen in 2001. And since I have been traveling around Europe, from Russia to Azerbaijan, Israel, and a lot of West European countries as well. One thing I think it's very interesting with the Eurovision, that it's of course, the music part, the competition, but it's also, the political debate. Because right now we have a very big debate about the Middle East, about Israel, but it's not a new thing. It has been a part of the Eurovision history for a lot of years. I remember when I was young, when I was a teenager, after the Berlin Wall fall in 1989, the Eurovision had a lot of songs about Europe. In 1990, it was about, about freedom, about hope for a new Europe. Then we had the war in ex-Yugoslavia, and then we said hello to Bosnia-Herzegovina in 93. And that song from that year from Bosnia, it was also a very political song. It was about, help us, come to Bosnia and help us. And we didn't do anything from the rest of Europe. And since that time, every year, political headlines has been a part of the Eurovision Song Contest. I think it's very excited. But you know, official Eurovision Song Contest is a non-political event, and that's also 100% correct. But as in big sports events like the World Championship in Qatar recently, and then we also had a debate about politics in the media, and we also have that in the Eurovision Song Contest. And about the Eurovision this year, I also think we have a lot of different songs and amazing songs, and you can also feel in some of them that we are going to have European Parliament election in June across Europe. For instance, the songs from Croatia. It's a song about what young people are thinking in Croatia and you know, the other countries around Croatia about, you know, get a future outside Croatia in other part of the European Union. So I think this year it's a very good Eurovision year. Also for Denmark, we are going to the final, hopefully. But you know, SABA and Erik will tell more about that. I think it will be my first words.
Yes. And I'm Erik, and I'm responsible for the Danish entry at Eurovision, and also responsible for the Danish pre-selection called Danish Melodi Grand Prix. And of course, we are looking so much forward to going to Malmö with SABA. The delegation went there first time yesterday for the first rehearsals, and they went very well. Of course, there's more than a week to the show, but so we'll still do adjustments. But it's looking really good, and it's really going to be, I think, what we dreamed of. So that's exciting. Eurovision is the culmination of a new approach and a strategy that we've been working on at Danish Broadcasting Corporation in the Danish pre-selection, and also have put a lot of effort into to sort of go from a former strategy where it was very based on what's the sound of Denmark like and the Danish music scene at the moment, to have a strong foundation in Denmark. And of course we have that with SABA, who is from Jutland in Denmark, and originally, and but also to have a strong aim on what works in Eurovision. And we have that with an artist that really sort of has a big language on the stage. I think really has a presence and communicates very strongly on the stage and also outside. I think by being, you know, who you are, but also by the approach to the songs. And this song we are going to Malmö with is written by two Swedes with a long or a good history with Eurovision earlier, and also by a Danish pop star called Pil. And that's new in, comparing to the last years in Denmark, to have a song written by someone with a really good track record of what works. So we are very much looking forward to see if it works, and of course we hope so. We think it works ourselves. And apart from that, we have been spending a lot of time in analyzing and sort of trying to find out what works in Eurovision, and we are also trying to put that into the show that is going to be very big and very beautiful, we think, and something else comparing to the other countries. And we hope that will be our advantage in the competition, that it stands out. There are a lot of funny songs, for example, this year after Finland last year, and this is something else, and we hope that will be rewarded. But we never know. It's a strong competition and a lot of great songs, and time will tell. But we hope and we believe in a great experience in Malmö next Thursday, and we are all looking so much forward to it. So that's the introduction from me.
Mm. Yeah, and I don't think my introduction would be that long. I'll try. I'm not that good at English, but I'll try to do a presentation. So yeah, I'm SABA. I'm representing Denmark this year, and I'm very proud of that. And thanks for the invitation today. Yeah, so we had this first rehearsal yesterday, and it went very well. It was nice to be there and focus on the music and the staging and what it's all about. Singing. I've had some rough weeks. To be honest, it has been a lot. A lot has been going on outside also the stage, and I've tried to navigate in the situations. And yeah, so I think yesterday was the first time I really I was able to really focus on the goal and the show. But yeah, I'm looking forward to perform next week, and I think it will be very, very good. Yeah, so maybe it's easier for me to maybe answer some questions, but I don't know how to what to say more. But yeah, you can of course ask me whatever you want to, and yeah, nice to see you.
Thanks, Ole, Erik, and SABA. I think I said we'll just open up for a few questions. There should be any, so I think we'll start here in the room to see if there's anybody here with a question for the panel. Yeah, we go. And please, if you could introduce yourself, just say who you are and where you work, and then.
Nazi Knudsen, freelance journalist. I would like to ask you, can you give us just a little verse? Can you sing just a little? So we'll have your music here. Can I give?
Actually, I need to.
Just
a little bit. What do you want me to sing?
Just what is your song in the position? Can just a little one?
Yeah, I can try.
Oh, thank you.
Shouldn't be so hot like breathing underwater. Baby, we've been in the blue. Didn't see it coming, falling into nothing. Ain't there something we can do? Ooh, ooh.
Thank you. That
Yeah.
was very nice. I mean, it was if you should have had some backing track.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I mean, I guess live is much better.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot. Sounded great. Osama?
Yes.
Yes, please.
My name is Osama. I'm working for Jordan News Agency. When I go to the hard questions, as you've been introducing, the invitation with us here is that queer woman of color that's you coming and representing Denmark. My question is that last week, the queer Palestinian organization had sent a message to all queer organizations in Europe and to countries here in Europe to boycott the song contest. Asking them, sending the message to you to boycott the Eurovision in protest against Israel. What's your response to the Palestinian queer organization? I have many other questions, but I will start with this.
So I actually didn't see I didn't receive anything from them. Maybe it was an open letter. I don't know. I haven't.
It was an open letter.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see it. I'm not on social media right now to take a break. I'll say that for me, it has been, of course, I've tried to really deliberate my options, if you can say that. And for me personally, the only right thing was to actually stay in the competition. Also because I feel like it's important to use the stage also and use the stage to represent. And I was if in a way I was like, for me personally, it's not an option to not stay in the competition. I've really tried to think about it a lot, and I haven't read the open letter, but I think, and I've said that before, that it's a huge responsibility to put on my shoulders as an artist. I have respected if we were like, if Danish television told me that we will stay home and not go or anything else, but it's a huge pressure for me, and also I feel I represent a lot of other things. As you said, I'm also brown and queer, and I think it's important to still keep the important voices inside, and for the different debates to coexist in a way. I think that's what I have to say about that. Maybe.
Okay, yeah, I think Osama, one more so we can go to other parties as well.
Okay, one more. What do you think about the decision of Iceland to boycott?
The what, sorry?
Iceland boycotting the Eurovision. What's your thoughts about it? What do you think?
Iceland boycotting.
Yes.
No, they ended up not doing it.
Every country is coming
I don't
to
think.
Malmö.
I don't think we. Yeah, I think everyone is going. Yeah.
Okay, that's mistaken.
But I think they talked about it and then they
Talked
decided to
about
go.
Iceland for
Yeah.
boycott.
A lot of countries talked about
Instead of
that.
that,
Yeah, you can. Yeah, sure.
Do you support that Russia is not allowed to boycott, to be in the contest?
I think I haven't thought about that, but I think it's not a decision I took, but I think I think so. I don't know.
Let me understand. Do you support that Russia is not allowed to be part of Eurovision?
I don't think I have a clear answer for that, but I think I support that. Yeah.
But you know that Russia is not a part of the Eurovision. That's not the same discussion about Israel, because the Russia issue is something else than Israel. Because EBU is not a government. It's a cooperation between media centers, television operators. And when Russia was kicked out of the European Union, the European Broadcasting Union, then was it because, you have a lot of governments, you have the European Union system who said no to Russia and banned Russia. And then the EBU followed that decision. That's not the situation about Israel. That's the difference.
I've also been out saying that I would have, if I could decide, I think like it's about, I don't know how to explain it in English, but I think for Israel to be a part of the competition, I feel like I can still agree on them staying out of it and still be there myself if I don't know what you wanted me to, what it was you wanted to do with that.
No, because you said, you support that. You would think that if Israel stayed out of the contest. That's what you said some weeks ago.
Yeah.
According to
That what? Sorry.
That you would prefer if Israel stayed out.
I would prefer that they maybe did it out of respect for the other artists, because I feel like it has been they put a lot of pressure. Their presence just put a lot of pressure on our shoulder, the artist's shoulders, and I feel like for me it's also new to navigate in this kind of conflict, and I'm also young and I try to answer when I'm getting asked, and I felt a lot of pressure from a lot of sides, So I've tried to do what I thought was the right thing to do, and that was to still stay in the competition and do what I can to represent, and yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we've got another question here in the room, but I'll just again say to the people on Zoom, please write in the chat if you've got any questions. But we'll keep an eye on that. And then, Pauline, please.
Yes. Hi, my name is Pauline, and I'm a journalist from Holland, working for Dutch public television. And I have a question for Erik and for SABA. Erik, you've been telling that you have new approach, what works with the Eurovision. And I read also there was an analysis done by artificial intelligence, where SABA was actually one of the favorites, where they looked at the last 70 years and then looked at who is going to win. And I was just wondering if AI was also used in your new approach. And SABA, I have a question for you as well. You've been, you said that it has been a tough couple of weeks and you have felt some pressure. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? What kind of pressure and how you are trying to cope with that?
Yeah, I can start if I, or you can start. I don't
You
know.
can start.
So yeah, when I say a lot of pressure, it's like a lot of debate is going on social media, and sometimes it's getting very personal. And I think I'm in the middle of a conflict where people have strong opinions from both sides, if you can say that. So yeah, I've just received a lot of messages, and people can be very personal in their approach, also on the streets and stuff. So I've really tried to to take care of myself, but because I've also been very open about my mental health. I've struggled a lot with my mental health, and I still do. So of course it has been tough to deal with the pressure and the press too, and you try to say something and then someone writes something and takes something out of context, and people never got to really get to know you when you're like a public offentlig person, like a public figure. Yeah. So it's new for me to navigate in this, and in that, so it has been a lot.
Thanks. And the answer to the AI question is that we haven't used that, but it sounds very interesting, and it would be. I haven't heard about that analysis, but it sounds very interesting, and of course I like the result. But no, we looked on the last 3 years of the Eurovision and which songs worked and what sort of artist and what sort of show and so on, and try to categorize us into some categories of big songs or hyperpop or whatever, and then we compared it to what's actually possible and would be authentic for Denmark to come with. But still, it's not us writing the songs, so we also dependent on the music business in Denmark and the artists like you and so on, what's actually coming our way, but try to communicate in some circles that, like for example, a big song that I think we could call your song with big emotions and a big hook is something that we have an impression of will work by really analyzing all the results track by track. So, but AI could be a new step in the next years.
Okay, yeah.
So thanks for the inspiration.
Do you speak Danish? Okay. Can I answer in Danish if you ask me about things? or is it in English at all?
We do it just here but
Okay.
if there's time, you could maybe take a question in Danish. Would that work this now? Yes.
That's up to you now.
I think we should keep it in English.
No, but it's fine, it's fine,
just
it's
for
fine.
the sake of our audience. I'll also just put the mic. So, any other questions? Yes, please.
Karolina Kantor from Finnish Broadcasting Service. We in Finland often look at, this is about Eurovision and Denmark in general, we often look at how many points, for example, Sweden gives us, or if they give at all, while we have given 12, for example. So do we have in Denmark, have you had traditionally this kind of discussion, even in a positive spirit, of course, in media also, for how many points your neighboring countries give to you compared to what Denmark gives to them?
I think of course it hasn't been a big discussion in the media, but of course in the dedication that's something we monitor and look into and see how it's we talk about, well, normally we could expect some points from these countries, but often I think it's more theory than reality, and so we never know what will happen. But of course, it's not. I don't think it's like such a mystery that or very weird that people from the same part of Europe understand some of the music from that sort of Europe better than maybe other, but also the beauty of Eurovision is also that we get introduced to so many different sorts of music from all over Europe, and sometimes you just can't calculate what's going to work in the end. But it's more like in the fan community and on fan media, and not so much, I think, in the big press. But maybe you...
But you know, last time Denmark won the Eurovision Song Contest 11 years ago, if it's only was the Nordic country who were voting, then Denmark was not the winner. Then it was actually Norway who was number one. Denmark got most points from, you know, the rest of Europe and from the Central and Baltic states and so on, but not, you know, from Finland, Sweden and Iceland. They were voting for Norway. So sometimes we need some more points from our Nordic friends.
Thank you. I'll just again say if there are any questions on the chat, please write them now. Otherwise, I'll look here in the room if there are any more hands. No, doesn't seem to be the case. So last chance on the chat to get in with a question. Otherwise, I think maybe for all three of you, just the venue in Malmö, the city of Malmö, what's it gonna be like? You've been there. Any thoughts you want to share on the setup?
For some Danish people call it Copenhagen M. Like in Copenhagen, we got some different areas with a letter in the end, and some of us call it Copenhagen M because it's so close to Copenhagen and just like 15 minutes away almost. So in a way, it's sort of our home away from home, and of course, I think there will be quite a few. I've read some numbers of where all the fans and the audience is coming from, and quite a few Danes are coming. So of course, that's good and interesting for us. But yeah, and it's also, I think it's looking like a very nice arena, and yeah, we're looking. I think it's fun. Also, of course, it takes more place in the Danish minds that it's just, you know, so near Denmark that it's going on. So I guess also there will be like more attention on it comparing to when it's in other parts of Europe.
Yeah, it's a very important arena actually for Denmark. Beside the Eurovision victory 11 years ago, we have also won a lot of handball matches in that arena, and handball is a huge sport in Denmark. So yeah, it's almost like being home to go to Malmö Arena, and SVT, the Swedish television company, it's very professional for Eurovision. So it's amazing.
Thank you. I think if there aren't any more questions, we'll say thanks a lot to Ole, SABA, and Erik for coming. And
Good luck.
and I think on behalf of all of us, wish you very good luck next week. It's going to be exciting how it goes. But thanks for coming here today. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.